A dog barks when his master is attacked. I would be a coward if I saw that God's truth is attacked and yet would remain silent. John Calvin.
Telling a woman that she can't be an elder is a nonsense rule.
If they claim to be in the body, we let them have it.
Donald Trump is going to win in 2020 by an absolute landslide.
Heretics Christianizing the American dream.
He's depending on us to make people hungry and thirsty by the way we live our lives.
Sowing is a blessing from God to make you rich.
Treating Jesus like a lottery ticket.
The Lord spoke to my heart. Been very few times I've ever heard God be this articulate with me. And I'm telling you word for word, these words came into my heart. I'm not asking you with me. I'm asking you to brush your hair.
We'll do them sharply. That's what God commanded.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Master's Dog False Teacher of the Week, episode 40. New video, new intro video. I hope you guys like it. It's a little shorter, a lot less to watch. I do miss having the Result song. I love that song by Result, and I'm so glad he gave me permission to use it for the time that I did. But it was time to move to get a little something different and a little bit shorter. 2.5 minutes of introduction is a lot. So we got through that intro video and all the false teachers in it. The 39 teachers that appeared in that first introduction video. Actually, I think it was 38 because we threw in an extra false teacher with the Pope somewhere around episode 19 or 20, somewhere in there, who had never appeared in the video. So, but now we are moving on. Added some new false teachers to this new video. I'll change it up. The nice thing about this is the format that I have that I'm using is I can just plug different things in at different times and not have to make major changes and take weeks of editing and stuff like that to get it done. So this week we are jumping forward, and I said the first false teacher I was going to do when we move forward was going to be Jory Micah. So we're going to jump in and we're going to start talking about our false teacher of the week. Number 40 is Jory Micah. And, again, I like to give a little bit of information about these people based on their own website and their own, blogs or whatever. So looking at Jory's website, jorymicah.com, and if you pull up her, actually, you know what? We can do this. I always forget that I can pull up the website. Maybe. Here we go. Jory Micah. So let's take a look at what she lists: her education, her master's thesis, if you'd like to read it, and her family and interests. So, excuse me. So, first, let's check out. Well, first, she lists herself as an advocate, writer, preacher. And I believe she is, the Breaking the Glass Steeple is the name of the book. She is currently writing or has written but not published or something like that. So what is Jory's education? What do we have for an education from Miss Jory Micah? She has an associate's in practical theology, a PS in church ministries. Sorry, junior high school humor on that one. A master's in biblical studies from Regent University, and is writing a thesis. Apparently, I don't know if she's going after a doctorate or what, or if that's just the thesis advisor for her master's thesis. Which you can also read. It is, I can't imagine that this is the entirety of her master's thesis on this page. Okay, no, it's the introduction. I was going to say, I read through this the other day, and I was like, this has got to be the shortest master's thesis I've ever read in my life. And of course, I didn't read the whole thing because I just couldn't do it. But then her family and interests. So let's get a little bit about Jory from what she says about her family and her interests. And there's a nice picture of her and her husband. I believe his name is Paul? Luke. I knew it was, one of the books of the Bible. First and foremost, fascinated with the beings in my life. I adore my funny, laid-back Californian husband, Luke, who I've been married to since 2009, and our 6-pound, sweet, bubbly Chihuahua, Noella, who obviously suffers for nothing. Oh, how cute. The three of us reside near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, currently doing life. So there really doesn't give a whole lot about her. Her parents made sure her older sister and I were in church twice a week. They greatly invested in our spiritual lives. I'd really like to know where her parents had her going to church while she was there, and with the attitude that she has about it now. Free time, she likes to read, write, shop, ski, go to the beach, eat at new restaurants, binge on Netflix, take walks, and say stupid things. On social media. So yeah, there you go. There's a little bit about her from her own blog and so on. Basically, here's the deal. There's not much about Jory on Wikipedia or anywhere else, so I really have to kind of break down who she is and what she is just based off of her social media. So if you've been watching for any period of time, you know that I started doing a live stream every few days, just as the ability, time frame, and necessity, I guess, hits me to do a live stream video of stupid things that Jory Micah says. We're up to 7 episodes right now. And it's basically, I just follow her on Twitter. I have to bite my tongue because I've been blocked by her 3 times because I just have to respond sometimes to some of the dumb things she says. But I'm on my 4th burner account here. Well, second burner account. And so I'm just keeping my mouth shut as I read. So here's the thing with Jory is she really makes a living out of saying stupid things. So here's one of them. If God is a man, count me out. So, I mean, we can go into that. I may have to. I haven't seen that tweet, but I may use that as a one of my episodes to break this whole thing down. I'm not going to get into it right now. God identifies himself throughout Scripture in masculine terms throughout, but God is neither man nor woman. He's neither. He has no parts or passions. God is a spirit. We know that God the Son, the second person of the Trinity, is absolutely a man. So there's no way around that, Jory. God became a man in the incarnation. I don't believe I'm explaining this in this episode. So here's just the dumb things that she says. She has essentially walked away from Christianity, any kind of Orthodox Christianity, for her own idolatrous, heretical concoction of what she wants Christianity to be, based fully on emotion. She's admitted to, she's got issues with depression, issues with ADHD, issues with all kinds of things. Not that you can't be Orthodox and have depression or ADHD, but these are things that affect her feelings to the point that she goes off to create her own Christianity, her own false Christianity. She's following in the footsteps of Joseph Smith, Ellen G. White, Charles Taze Russell, and any number of false teachers from today, Brian McLaren. Oh my gosh, I just went completely blank. The dude that kissed dating goodbye. I can't think of his name. Rob Bell, William Paul Young, all these people who went like emergent and then just went off the rails, denying all kinds of Orthodox essential orthodox issues of the Christian faith. And Jory has done that too. She's very LGBTQIA, LMNOP affirming, and not just affirming, but just encouraging, and so obviously she is. I don't know that I would even call her egalitarian, as much as I would call her. I mean, she's beginning to become matriarchal. I mean, literally, some of the tweets and things that she says, which, again, I encourage you to follow us, subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification so you know when I go live, or come back and watch them later. But watch some of these, because it really is. I mean, again, I was accused of being pugnacious and contentious when I decided to start this podcast about stupid things Jory Micah says. But it really has been useful in bringing out some deep-seated theological errors in her way of thinking, and in even just in social justice and again, I have, you choose my words. I can't say that I have no problems with the whole social justice issue. I'm willing to look at things from multiple directions, and the way that Jory Micah is coming in on this social justice issue is, I mean, she's really almost to the point of, let's just push the men out and let the women take over. So she's becoming very matriarchal, not even at this point egalitarian. She's very anti-complementarian, and speaks out quite a bit against that. The video, in the introduction video, there's a little clip of that from some of her stuff. But so she's just, and I've said this in the I've said it in the podcast, the Stupid Things Jory Micah Says podcast. She is kind of this amalgamation of all kinds of false teachers. She has taken bits and pieces of Rachel Held Evans and Vicky Beeching and Rob Bell and Josh Harris. There you go. I knew I'd get his name. And, Joel Osteen and all these just outside of Orthodox pseudo-Christian professors, for lack of a better term, and she's taken bits and pieces of these people and trying to put them all into herself. And I've used the 1990s cartoon reference of Serpentor from G.I. Joe, where the G.I. Joe team went out and got DNA from all these great world leaders, Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar and who knows what else. But they put them all together into one dude, and we ended up with Serpentor, the Cobra Emperor. And this is what Jory Micah literally is. She is like this this culmination of all kinds of false teachers to become just out there, and says some of the most outlandish things. So there you go. It's hard to pin down any specific. I don't know if she's. I wouldn't say she's anti-Trinitarian. She's absolutely not down with sufficiency of Scripture in any way. She is a red-letter Christian to the point that the red letters fit in with her worldview. Because, boy, if you bring up where Jesus talks about deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me, she's going to push back against that, even though it's in the red letters. And because that doesn't quite fit in with her stuff. But she is pretty much anti-Paul, anti-anything else in the Bible except the red letter stuff that Jesus said. And then she's, taken most of that with a grain of salt. So that's kind of I feel like I never really sufficiently define Jory Micah, because it's like trying to pin Jello to a wall. She's so amoebic in the way that she changes up her theology from day to day as you read the things that she writes and posts. It's almost impossible to nail it down. She is a idolatrous, heretical teacher, and that's the best that I can do for her. I mean, that's the best description I can come up with. She has created her own, she's fashioned her own God and her own Christ to fit her own needs and her own beliefs, and she is actively out there preaching that ever-changing theological idea of who she thinks, who she has imagined Jesus to be for herself. So there you go, guys. That is our False Teacher of the Week, episode 40. It is Jory Micah is the false teacher this week. I have a long list of other false teachers we're going to get into over the next probably 5 or 6 months. But as always, I'm always willing to take your suggestions. Now, I know that every time I do this, somebody's going to suggest to me somebody like Doug Wilson, James White, so on. I don't think those guys are false teachers. If you can give me some real solid evidence that those guys are false teachers, I'll take a look at it and we'll see. But give me your suggestions of other false teachers, and we'll just take them as they come, and I will investigate some of them. I had some people giving me names of people I had never heard of, so I'm in the process of looking some of these folks up and hopefully adding them to the list, and we will continue on week after week, every Saturday morning, hopefully, God willing and the creek don't rise. Every Saturday morning or somewhere around there, we will get out an episode of our False Teacher of the Week. And as always, preach the gospel at all times. Use words because they're necessary. And until next week, Soli Deo Gloria.